And it's a brand new trading week right here in Lagos, Nigeria. And global markets are also getting ready for, already trading at this time. We're seeing some big moves already. Even looking at the Middle East, we see most of those bosses there doing quite big moves we've not seen. I'm talking about the Middle East. And we're also seeing intraday movement right here at the local bourse, marginally up at this time. I'm wondering if it's going to follow the big move that we saw for the week. There was a massive green close for the week, talking about the NGX, over 3% rise for the week. And definitely the global markets we also track all over the world. And we'll be looking at the US also, see if how investors are planning for rate setting season right here globally in most of the global markets that we track. And we have Willie Bong with the details now. Great to have you, Will.
Hey,
how are the markets looking?
Oh, the markets are looking chirpy. Well, I'm being optimistic about that. We did see that marginal uptick for the NGX, but we're hoping that maybe by the close of business, the big guys will, will come back into the market and probably just, do their thing as they did last week.
Yeah, it was
but
quite
still
a big
in the
move,
green.
so.
Let's not lose hope yet.
Right, still in the green.
Still
All
in
right,
the green.
keeping hope alive.
So we're kicking off, with major equities in Africa where sentiments were positive, mostly positive at intraday. Well, mostly negative if you look at it because Nigeria's NGX was the lone gainer at intraday. It was up marginally at 0.05%. South Africa traded down 0.14%. If we look elsewhere, the Egypt's EGX 30 not starting off to a great start this week, down nearly 4% at the start of the first trading day of the week, and we see Kenya closing Friday in the green. But we're going to be digging straight away and see what's happening at the NGX, what's moving the markets, why the NGX is trading slightly positive. We're hoping for a big jump today, but Ambrose Omodian, Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consultant, will be giving us the insights. Good afternoon, Ambrose. Good to have you on the program. Ambrose, can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great. Ambrose, we're seeing just a slight marginal uptick at intraday for the NGX, the local boss, and FTN Cocoa, stocks like FTN Cocoa, ABC Transport, and NEM are on the top gainers list. Are the big guys taking a rest?
Yeah, not really, but I'll say that the NGS is facing a potential inflation and the interest rate peak at peak now because we're seeing that our inflation has hit all-time high and also interest at all-time high. But still, our market is still in green. Say that the Nigerian investors are becoming more diversified in terms of thinking and also more solid in terms of knowledge. That is helping the market. Seeing that the trillion companies, I call them, with the personality behind these trillion companies have changed the dynamics and also the structure of our market. That's why the market is still in green. Despite that, we have not seen much earnings that have come with surprises in the market, but the market maintain a positive sentiment.
Okay, we're talking about sentiment and talking about the trillion naira companies. We see last year we took an overall of how companies performed. We saw that 13 companies quoted on the NGX, including MTN and Dangote Cement, generated over 9 trillion naira's revenue for 2023, and this represents a 30.5% increase from 7.2 trillion that was reported in 2022. Now, these companies, they faced inflation, FX crisis, insecurity in the country. But what's the outlook for companies in 2024? Do you expect a similar performance, or do you see them outperforming what they did in 2023?
You just mentioned, the sector you just mentioned are very essential. That's why every investor has to kind of push their portfolio to these sectors. Don't forget that in Nigeria, we're having a structural gap. That tells you that the cement industry is going to have a lot of upside potential. But once if they increase their price in the first month of the year, that is also a signal where they are going. For MTN, we saw that the FS challenges in Nigeria kind of dented their profit after tax. But I believe that as the government is putting all effort together to ensure that they address the issue of FS, and we go into the future, I see MTN rebounding positively. As far as we speak now, their gross earning was still in trillion, though their bottom line was affected because of FX. But I believe that the essential thing they are rendering in terms of data and also call, despite our seeing challenges in terms of the internet recently, I believe that before the end of the year, they will have surmounted what is their problem and maintain a positive direction that will also impact investors portfolio at the end of the day.
Okay, these companies, well, as I mentioned, they beat inflation based on the report. Do you see investors in this high inflation environment? Inflation, headline inflation is about 31.7% right now. Let's not talk about food inflation, which is at 37.92%. Now,
Exactly.
we are looking at where investors can key in right now, where they can position themselves to be able to beat inflation. We see people running to the fixed income market space because we see that higher yields in that space now, but it's still below inflation, not, cutting that mark there. But how do you expect investors to position themselves now to be able to beat inflation and still smile to the bank at the end of the year?
Yeah, I would say there are three hosts of investors in the market. Those are the big ones. I call them institutional investors. Those are the banks. The banks are naturally, because of the economic situation, like to lend to the public. They were looking at the way of the market, physical market, which is the money market where they play. Something like Treasury B or 340 is about 21.21 latest, down from 21.5. For me, that's attractive for them. But for retail investors like you and I that are trading with less than 5 million or 10 million, putting your money down for a whole year to get a 21.7, for me, you are still not in the right place, because at the end of the day, when the money comes back, your money will not buy anything meaningful in Nigeria. That means you must look for a venue or a window where you can hedge against inflation. And for me today, the only place we can do that is what in equity space, by taking what we call strategic investment decision and position in some stocks. So at the end of the day, you earn higher than what inflation. That's the only way to go for those that really want to play in the equity market. Yes, you say you are running for safety. I will tell you that no investment, no window, there's a total safety, but there's element of this, even in the federal government bond. We saw what happened in Ghana 2 years ago about their bond. That means if you are calculating where to invest money, yes, you can do a portfolio rebalancing for target where you can earn above inflation. That is good to go. And I believe that some of the stock in our estate today has that potential, especially if you look at the personalities behind the trillion stocks on the exchange. They've demonstrated that they know what they are doing in the market. For me, I they follow the billionaires, but follow them with caution. These billionaires, they know what they are doing in the market. And go and look any other market in the world, in US, any trend that you are seeing these billionaires, these names like Warren Buffett, other names there, you can see them when they are investing, market move that direction, because they know that these people, they have done their due diligence. And also, we are seeing this personality in Nigeria now, changing the face of our market. I think investors should trade that trend and follow them to know what to make money for. Only that, trade with caution when we are going to billionaires for the trade.
Quite interesting, Ambrose. I've heard people say follow the money, but right now we ought to follow the investors, or the billionaires rather. Follow the billionaires and not follow the money.
They are part of the money. They are part of the money. Yeah, they are part of the money. Following the money or following the billionaires.
Very, very interesting there. So speaking of which, now let's look at earnings season is still here, and some stocks. Some companies have been, they've published their earnings report, and we've seen some dividend payouts coming in there. What would you tell us about, say, GT Code has published their results? What is their dividend payout like, and how does that benefit investors? What should investors expect from the bank going forward, especially Access Holdings that, there's been some rejigging in their leadership just to boost investors' confidence. And also we've seen Africa Prudential also releasing their dividend, paying their dividend of 45 kobo. So just speak to us about the dividend and the earnings season, what you see these companies, how you see these companies performing in this quarter.
Yeah, for me, the results we have seen so far, let's start from there, would have been a mixed number. But for the banks, I think there's great expectation from the bank, because in the history of Nigeria market, the banks have been most consistent in terms of dividend payout, and also they grow their dividend on a yearly basis. If that trend is sustained, we expect that despite CBN emphasizing that they did not pay for their FS gain, most of the banks on Nigeria state have done excellently well in their last quarters, but not in their full year. Even though they released their audited account for the full year 2023, we have seen impressive number. And also looking at their interest income and other sources of income, most of them will still pay dividends, controlling their price. They also that is what we're seeing today. And don't forget that I said it in one of the class that investors will not really target companies that pay you 10% dividend of their price, or 10% yield. Target company that has what we call a dividend policy that they grow their policy, they pay out on a yearly basis. If a company is not growing their earnings, they can't increase their dividend. That means a company that is doing well, they feel that their earning power is increasing and they are growing their payout. That is where investors will pick their tent. And I feel that these banks have done that. And also, don't forget that the banks are going to recapitalization this year. I think that on the strength of their, what we call a shareholders fund, most of the banks, like the first year, are really, in a good shape. But because they needed more money to expand, we saw what the move GTCO is doing. For me, it's a good one. But that's not saying that they are shaking. No, they are going to solidify their position so that they can do bigger business and also earn them more money. I believe that all these results from the banks come for the full year 2023 give one chance. But I believe that the focus we have seen so far also for the full plan that are forecasted for the second quarter, they are also telling that they're going to do well with the numbers we are seeing until we see the actual figure in second end of quarter now also compare. But right now, we are expecting that from month of April, starting their Q1, and also when the CPN comes with a clear direction of calculation of what's to do well. But I believe that the bank like Fidelity, banks like GTCO, Zenith Bank, UPA, Access Bank, even FCMB, they are all seeing that these banks, the way they are going, their numbers are looking up, and that also sustain their performance.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. Before I let you go, just very quickly, do you see the market closing the red or green? One word.
I see the market closing in red. After market have rallied for straight 10 days, I expect that profit taking will hit the market, especially those high cap stocks will put the market down.
Thank you so much, Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer, Investigator Consulting for coming on Business Incorporated.
Thanks for having me.
So we continue with the other markets. We see Middle East markets trading mostly positive at intraday, except for Saudi Arabia. We see Abu Dhabi up over 6.3%. And this is because investors believe that stock, you see Dubai up marginally up 0.03%, but the investors are looking at the intraday surge at in Abu Dhabi, which is the highest in nearly 4 years. And this was because of a 1.4% rise in the UAE's largest lender, First Abu Dhabi Bank. And analysts think that the market's behavior is reflective of the ongoing trust in Abu Dhabi's ambitious plan to lure more wealthy people and permanent residents investors into the country. Now, still within the region, we see Saudi down at intraday 0.05% and the Qatari index marginally up 0.02%. Now, let's look at the US now and see that's the Dow Jones is down 0.04%. S&P 500 futures up 0.35% and the NASDAQ futures up 0.7%. It's policy meeting, the rate setting meeting for the US this week. They're going to start tomorrow and the announcement will be out by Wednesday. We're going to know what the Fed decision will be, if they're going to hold rates or they're going to cut rates. But the latter is very unlikely, but we'll see what the Fed is going to do, the decision they're going to take on Wednesday. Now let's look at Asia. Asia markets, you see Japan's Nikkei 225 leading gains in that region, up 2.67%, and the index is really up at its best, but below the 40,000 level that we saw it trading with. Kospi index, that's in South Korea, is up 0.71%. The Hang Seng index in China is up 1.10%. Let's look at the other markets. Shanghai in China also is 0.99% up, and the S&P in Australia is also up 0.07%. So it's a green day for the Asia markets, and we're seeing that, hoping that they sustain this positive momentum to the close of business, and they hope that, other markets rally, because Ambrose just said that the NGX is going to close in the red after trading for 10 straight consecutive days, a positive trade.
Yeah.
But we are hoping that they are going to probably just change that mindset and just decide that, oh no, let's just go in the green.
Let's just keep going in the green.
Just go in the green.
Well, definitely we'll see, at this time, knowing fully well that we saw big gains from most of those high cap stocks. And he did mention that those stocks might take back most of the profit, this week. But we'll see, for sure. It's rate setting season here. That's next week.
Yes, definitely.
We'll see what the MPC does next with the rates. Thanks so much for the details.